Hey, Ben.
Good morning. How are you?
Woo! Rock and roll, right?
Yep. That's my mantra.
Yeah, just moving. How much daylight does Alaska have now? It's getting summertime. There's more
It
daylight.
yeah, it moves fast. It's like it seems like right after Valentine's you start to feel it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, it's light late at night.
Wow. It's because now it's like it's lit like until almost 8 p.m. or something, and I love it because I feel good at
Uh,
8 p.m. I have energy. I got the day, right? I can work and go do stuff. Hey, Rob, Russell, and we're talking about daylight. And I was wondering how much daylight there is in Alaska. Isaac, and man,
Hey,
when it's dark at 4:30, man, at 5 o'clock, I'm like dragging my knuckles on the ground. Yeah, it's
I
insane.
wanna I wanna put myself in like a biosphere that has a 36-hour time clock and 24-hour day and a 12-hour sleep time.
24, can you run like you run straight 24 hours and then sleep
And sleep for 12.
12?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the theory on that?
I don't know. It just seems like I need more time in the day. The opposite, other people like Einstein would work for 4 hours, sleep for 4 hours, do a cycle like that. Both have their merits.
Yeah, it'd be wild.
And then there's the good old like 4 million-year-old circadian rhythm of 8 hours sleep and 12 hours of or 16 hours a day.
Yeah, I do about I probably sleep 7 or 8 hours each day, and that feels pretty good.
Yeah, that's supposed to be physiologically, evolutionary, biologically, physics of the world, normal
Yeah.
time.
Keeps the brain from getting plaque all over it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How about you? I mean, I don't know, Isaac, Chris, what do you guys do? What's your cadence looking like?
right. For sleep schedule, I came in the middle of that. So, I, gosh, I'm usually asleep weekdays by 10 and I'm up by about 5:30.
Yeah, 10 to 5. So that's about 7 hours
Yeah.
minus kind of stuff.
Yeah. I rarely sleep in.
Yeah, you got young kids too, so that's
Yes.
factors into it. Okay, this is bi-monthly, right? Get together, figure things out, life, business, whatever one's going, whatever's going on, we can tackle. And then I was thinking as we come into this, let's do a round. This is a smaller group than Life Master Course, and so we can do a round of introductions. And if there's something you're working on, put it out there, and that could be the topic that we go to and brainstorm as a group. If you don't have a topic, I'm going to put out AI because that's like it's the beast out there. And Isaac, we're going to meet tomorrow, and we're going to
Yeah.
unpack some of this stuff. And so how does this change our lives and how we work kind of stuff. So that's our potential go-to topic. But if there's something else going on, like, hey, I woke up and all the money's out of my bank. Maybe we still talk about that first, right? Or the wife is gone and then took the dog. How do I get the dog back? Talk about that, right?
Uh, well, the topic that's
Yeah,
been on my mind relative to the Freedom Platform, and I have just never gotten over the hump of getting into it and using it. And you know, I don't know. I want the success of that platform for you, and I want the success for me with a tool like that, and just that's something that's been
yeah,
sitting with me, and I'm trying to figure out what's in my way, basically. Is it could be just myself and with laziness
yeah.
or busyness or something, but like, yeah,
Ben,
it's
doesn't
not
it go in?
happening naturally. And so I got to figure out.
Yeah. So
Ben, doesn't that go into the changing of habits, right? In order to change a habit, we have to do it consistently for X amount of days to make it become a habit, and then you
Right.
start to feel like you're missing it. So in order to start the habit, you have to kind of set a time. This is when I'm going to do something. This is when I'm going to invest in it. So I think for me, onto your comment is it's I love the idea and the concept, and it certainly just being in these meetings has allowed me to think about some things differently and approach things differently. And I think in that sense, it's been successful. In whether or not I use the tool or don't use the tool, I think it's a great tool. I think the concept around the tool is great. I think what's more important is the conversation that we all engage in. I think hearing what other people have to offer, what they have to say, and how they reflect on the same things that we do, winds up impacting us much greater because gosh, there's not one single answer. There's not one single habit that we all would do that lead to success other than we're driven, right? I mean, I think everyone that gets on these calls, you have to be driven to some level or another, or you wouldn't show up. You're not going to be here.
Yeah.
We're here because we want ourselves to be better.
Yeah, so let's take. I'm gonna put a pin in that. After we do a round of introductions, I'll screenshot and I'll just flash stuff up. I think I'll start posting short
Don't
videos, like
flash me.
a flash, right? We're calling the police. They won't show up anyway, so let's call them. So
A
so
SWAT shows up at your house, right?
yeah, it's something, right? So
You can
I
get financial freedom with your OnlyFans.
got $1.95. That's wild. Imagine. So let's go. Let's do introductions since you guys kick it off. So Ben, why don't you do an introduction, like who you are, what you're all about, and then we'll go to Isaac and we'll keep going, kind of a lightning round of intros, and then I'll flash up the Freedom Platform, and I'll do more if I hear from you guys about what could help you get into it. And I'll tell you what's coming that's going to be built into the platform that might make it even more compelling to set the habit. But so Ben, let's go with you.
Sure. Ben Linford, born and raised in Anchorage, Alaska. Moved to Seattle in 2011. Investment stuff years ago. Stepped into family business to run that, and I've been doing that, being a slinger of wholesale food for the last 5 years, and that's been exciting. And that's how I came to get to work with Kirk and team. We hired growth CFO to work for our company as we transitioned out of an internal bookkeeper, and that's where I'm at with things. And I'm trying to. That business has had a lot of success. We doubled in over 5 years. We're running into the other edge of that growth sword and the capital constraints and stuff like that come with the rapid growth. So that's where that business is at. And then I've got other opportunities that are kind of spinning off related to that. But all that's my professional life. I identify as a musician and a dad and builder and an inventor, I guess.
There's a lot there. Not the average Joe. Yep. Isaac,
What's the business spin?
go ahead.
Can we find it online?
Which
Oh, the wholesale food
business?
business.
Oh, the business. Sorry, broke. Yeah, it's a wholesale food business called Linford of Alaska. We're a local wholesale food foods, and something my grandparents started in the 70s, and my grandmother really grew it a lot from mid 80s until 2017, and then we've taken it to the next chapter from there.
Yeah. Feel free to drop your LinkedIn, your website, that kind of stuff, because familiar faces will keep getting to know each other. For everybody, feel free to do so. Good stuff. Okay, Isaac.
Sure. I'm Isaac Sparks. We second generation in a family business. We have a holding company that fully owns our businesses called 3705 Holding. We operate as a contractor, Hunt Valley Contractors, Sparks at Play, which is a sales company, and Hunt Valley Distributors, which is also a sales company. And we started a new business in the fall of last year, which is an inspection services business for the industries we're in. I guess I identify as well as a father. More importantly, it's more important to go spend time and get away. I was just at Disney World for the long weekend this past weekend, and we're we're growing more into that and focused around that. I'm also in a position at this point where our company operates based on our processes and great people that we have in. So I'm not working in the business. I haven't been doing that for a while now. I've been working on the business and then working to find charitable organizations that we can align with and other things that allow us to feel better about all the things we do and ways that we can share some of our success with others. So, um, my role is continuing to evolve and I'm still trying to figure out the best place to be. So I think that's a life journey though.
Oh yeah, nice.
I'm a little bit in that same journey, but it sounds like you're a little further on in terms of working out of the main, put the right people in place. I've been working on stepping out of the day-to-day of that business and working on the business instead of in the business, kind of like you said. But it sounds like you're a little further along with that, and I'm on that same journey. So
Well, it's
Yeah.
getting good people and then trusting them is what I found is the biggest thing to do, and understanding that they're not going to do it the way you did it, but that's okay. The way they do it may
mhm,
actually be better. So empower them.
mhm.
My next journey really is there's a book behind me that is the game of business, and I've engaged that group to kind of talk about our next steps and our next growth and what we're going to do, and it's an interesting concept, but that's not about me. That's about just concepts. So I don't know who's next, Kurt.
And those are great things to share, like in the WhatsApp group, to the extent that we're interacting there. And hey, Chris, how about you? What's your
Sure.
story?
Yeah, Chris Gilliam, founder, CEO of Data Mapped, kind of on second life of it, I guess, if you will. We kind of started, it's still a SaaS product. It was helping companies pull data, but now we're actually analyzing it and using AI significantly in what we're doing across the board with sentiment, just so many different ways. It's mind blowing. I learn a lot from my team on how they do it, but it's crazy to see how you can use that. And we just we really try to focus up companies turn their data from a cost center to a profit center and looking at it from a different way. So that's been my background. I've been a database administrator with starting with Oracle about 30 years ago. Um, Definitely identify as a dad, a grandfather. I got 3 grandkids. Get to see them all in a couple of weeks, which will be great. And just love doing stuff here, Colorado, biking, skiing, playing drums. So that's
Yeah.
most of my stuff.
And Chris, definitely drop in, but you glue all the technology together, and you're being accelerated with the AI and all that kind of stuff. So definitely drop your link in, because I mean,
Sure.
there's gonna be more tools than ever, right? And
It's different almost every week. Every time we have calls, there's of course there's different AI engines. There's a lot of stuff. I know some of the technical stuff. I am very technical from there, but I step back, like you guys are talking about, working more on instead of in, and just trusting them. And yeah, it's crazy what it can do. Just save time. It doesn't have to replace a lot of things, but it just saves time and gives you uh, better insight, I think, in what people see.
wow, it's massive. So definitely,
Yeah.
who knows what, do something to get work together. So Steve, you look like you're right looking at the sun. Is that the
I am. It is very bright out. I really should have an umbrella out. I'm in the west coast of Canada, so when we get the sun, we just want to enjoy it. I'm on Vancouver Island. Work has just passed by a little while ago, so that was pretty cool. And for me, business-wise, I've always had landscaping businesses in Denmark and here. And now I'm transitioning into the journey I went through was infertility for years. So I'm going to be creating a business around that, that I'm super passionate about. We're also passionate about Bitcoin and that whole universe. So that's my husband's passion. But then since it's his passion, it kind of has rubbed off on me. And I'm also passionate about time freedom, like having not being sort of a slave to the job. And I love traveling. We spend a lot of time traveling. I have a lot of family in Europe and playing pickleball. And I also am a musician. I play the cello. So seems like there's a lot of musicians in the crowd.
Yeah, talented people.
Yeah,
Talented people,
exactly.
no doubt. I use AI to make all my songs, right?
AI is amazing what it can do. It is so powerful. It's incredible.
Yeah, I did. I did that several weeks ago on the call. He just popped things in, and all of a sudden the music. Yep. So, okay,
Nice.
okay, Ben drops. I lost track of where I was at. So, Russell, what's your story? ATC
So I'm sorry, what?
on your shirt. ATC.
Oh yeah, it's one of my clients. So my wife says that I'm a walking commercial. So I wear
Ah,
shirts of clients. So I would wear Foresight CFO shirt if I had one.
man, it's Growth CFO LLC now.
Okay,
I'm gonna send you one.
so I need a new shirt.
Yeah, I'll make a note here. Send you a shirt.
So I have three kids. One that works for Disney, one that's in pharmaceutical tech, my son's in IT. So I have two hats that I wear. One, I do business coaching, helping business owners move to the next level to create the prize of business ownership of a profitable business that works without them, that they can ultimately sell it. So in Maryland, I'm contracted through the University of Maryland to service business owners in Maryland. And then I have a private coaching outside of Maryland to the rest of the world, as long as they speak English, because I don't speak any other languages.
AI can help with that.
So I teach business owners how to utilize AI. So that's really my focus now when it comes to AI, to learn it myself, to teach it of how business owners can build, stealing from Think and Grow Rich, that virtual board. So it's a world of books at their access that they can. So lack of information isn't the issue. It's how do you decipher through all of that to get to it. And I call it the FDR approach to AI. FDR was famous for asking the same question to three people, three advisors, and working them off of each other. So it's doing the same thing with AI, is having three different AI vehicles and working them off of each other. So I teach CEOs how to do that.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Triangulate. Excellent. Let's go to Rob.
Oh, I had to unmute. Probably the most boring Rob Daly. I had I've got nothing really significant right now. I'm dabbling in various, uh, I'll just call them like passion projects with various people, mostly working directly in the business versus on their pre-business ideas. For instance, my favorite one is one I came up with. It's a suck up bot, a personal assistant using AI, sits on your desk. But
Yeah.
the the distinction with it is that it's just filled with flattery, and so it's just there as a goof. But the idea is interesting because I don't know if everybody keeps up with this stuff, but only recently uh, OpenAI released this new audio models that allow you to customize AI generated voices in various styles, and you can completely control them. So one of the challenges at the moment is to get that kind of gushing flattery uh, butler, if you will, on your desk to vary their flattery level and their sarcasm level and so on, according to what your preferences are. But anyway, it's just toying around at the moment. I just, again, have nothing significant in the work side to add at the moment, but I have one son. My wife and I just are enjoying ourselves at this point. And he too is into machine learning. He's reinforcement learning particularly, but he was literally laid off from his company fairly recently. It was a startup, Series A, and he's just moving on to the next thing. But he's got a very narrow focus. Plus, he wants to be able to be remote only from Ithaca. So He's got some heavy criteria. So at the moment, that's kind of in the back of our minds. We're not worried about him, but that's the sort of thing that's just like we hope that he makes a good transition to the next startup that he wants to get into or whatever business he goes to.
Yep. And Rob, I'm not going to let you play yourself down. Rob has built and sold multiple technology businesses. I mean, I think there's at least four, right? And so that's where that's coming from. And I asked Marcus to share his information. We'll post it. I'll post it. You never know, but that's up and coming talent. So
I will. I will. He did post something on LinkedIn right away, and we kind of reposted that. But I'll share that with you, and then also other bits too. So, thank you.
I put it out there. Keep these young people going in the right directions, because who knows, right? And then okay, we got Jody. What's your story?
Yeah, so Jody Corbett, I was a Virginia State Trooper and then an FBI agent, retired from the FBI in January of 2024. The latter part of my career, I was a cyber supervisor for our FBI Cyber Task Force in our Washington field office. Before you ask me any cyber questions, let me be clear, I'm the least cyber
Ah,
supervisor you're ever going to meet. I was never a ones and zeros guy, but I always treated the nerds very, very well and got them whatever they needed, so they took care of me. Um, I retired from there, started working in my church as a pastor. So I'm a pastor at New Life Christian Church in Chantilly, Virginia. I know that a lot of people have different reactions to hearing about a pastor, but I always remind people that, if you're Muslim or Jewish, you're my brother or my sister because we're all sons and daughters of Abraham. And if you're Sikh or Muslim or Hindu, you're my friend because I find that most folks, are seeking after God. So, as far as how I identify, I'm a follower of Christ. I'm a husband and a dad. We adopted our older two boys, and I have a biological son who's getting ready to graduate high school and move on. I also am a musician. I play the kazoo, and I sing very loudly, not well,
ah,
but loudly. So if you just need a loud singer, I'm your guy, Siv, for when you're ready. Um, so when I left government service, obviously I had zero business expense. I had no idea what I was doing, and so Kirk came along and kind of shepherded me along like a lost homeless person on the sidewalk in the business realm. So always open and learning. That's one of the things I love getting on this call with you guys because so many of you have different business experiences, even if it's in different industries, but still things that I can learn and take away. Um, Isaac, if you're ever looking for some places to put that money, our church actually built a community center. It's called the N Zone. So literally the letter N, Zone of Chantilly. It's a community center we built for the surrounding community, and we host a lot of under-resourced folks here, especially from the Spanish-speaking and Afghan communities that got relocated here in Northern Virginia. We provide free lunches and camps for them, book drives, coat drives, things like that. But all of that requires money, and we don't. The end zone's not making enough to cover that, so we have to try and find ways to fundraise or through tithing through the church. So, um, on what I'm doing now professionally, besides being a pastor, I also take groups up to Gettysburg and Antietam for one-day leadership events. Those are national battlefields from the Civil War, where we use that to talk about leadership and kind of how is your organization doing with it. We also do strategic thinking and planning, coaching, training, and then I'm also doing consulting work where when I was coming out of the FBI, I was exposed to a lot of I was working what's called human intelligence, but companies that were developing software, AI, data sets, hardware that they were trying to get back in front of the federal government. I like two of those, and I realized that there was a big market for that. So I've been working with a lot of small tech companies that have really produced some cool stuff. I'll make a shameless plug, especially for anybody here who has devices on your network. There's a company that I'm talking to called Quarks. They have developed a network device security tool software that has been quantum proofed by Los Alamos National Labs. And I know quantum proof means different things to different people, but because their technology, they have 11 patents on it, it doesn't require an algorithm that no matter how many quantum computers you put against it, you won't be able to break it. And right now, the in the history of IT security, it's always been you have a static IP and every device connected to that IP is good to go. What this company does is they mistrust every device on the network every 3 seconds. And obviously that type of technology, basically it doesn't fix all of your IT problems as far as security. There's still account takeovers, there's still, you know, social engineering. The human element is always going to be an issue from an insider threat perspective. But from literally just protecting your devices themselves, you don't let the bad guys on your device. They're not there for more than 3 seconds or less, and before the device pings out. Um, and it doesn't impact latency. It doesn't require encrypted packages, anything like that. So pretty cool technology. That's one of several that I'm working on, but that's one maybe for this group. If you've got an organization with a lot of devices on your network, happy to talk more with you about that if it can help you. And then I put my LinkedIn thing here in the chat. Always happy to connect with folks on LinkedIn also.
Yeah, that's great. And for all those things, Jody, if you post it to the WhatsApp group, it's more permanent, right? Where people can access that. I'd be interested in knowing more about that. Security, it's a new game. So
Is that quarkslab.com that you're talking about, Jody?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Is that company quarkslab.com?
It's
just
QWERX.
Oh, okay.
yeah, the one you're
Got
talking
it.
about, Rob, is a hacker. They got websites now.
Quarks.co, right? That's the one.
So, okay. So let's go to Catherine and Amy, then we'll start unpacking topics here. So
Good. Thanks for letting me share. And it's always a joy to be with Kirk. He always learns something and get my mind expanded. So I'm calling in from Vicksburg, Mississippi. That's on the river. And I'm looking at the river right now with our view from my office. I grew up here, but escaped when I was 21. I had to escape because my dad had put me to work in his CPA firm when I was 9. And by the time I got to be a junior in college, I was like, I don't think this guy really wants me to be a college graduate. I think he just wants me to be a bookkeeper the rest of my life. So I escaped and got my degree and my CPA license in Dallas, but it was never meant to be a CPA like him. We're people. So 30 years ago, I found coaching and I've been coaching, but mostly facilitating processes since then. And I'm pleased, Kirk, you don't know this, pleased to report that I built a team of 5 people that have joined the firm. I'll put my what new web. Well, it's a revised website. I'll put it on in the WhatsApp thing. So fractional CFOs, but their primary role is not to be fractional, but they've done fractional. They're data analyst. One's just a deep dive a data analyst that was with McKinsey, Accenture, Deloitte, and KPMG early in his career, and then the other one was started his career. JP Morgan Chase in New York. He's a finance guy who's had his own fractional CFO firm, Perk. So he'd be a good contact for you. He's a little bit older than you. So anyway, I'll put my website on the WhatsApp. It's just a joy to be with y'all. Great to see a lot of familiar faces.
That's fantastic. It's good to hear the update. It's been a minute. And then so Amy, what are you up to?
Hello, everyone. Hi, Kirk. Thanks for
Hello.
having me. I am in Austin, Texas, but I lived in the Bay Area, San Francisco, for 24 years before coming here in 2021. So I've been here for a while. My background is that I was in corporate sales and consulting for bigger companies like IBM, Microsoft, Oracle, Salesforce, Cisco, and the like, and worked on digital transformation teams there prior to AI, really coming into the picture. And currently, I am working with companies to scale and grow. My husband, who Kirk knows, is the fractional CFO, or he works on CFO duties. And so we help companies to grow and scale, and then we also specialize in mergers and acquisitions. In terms of projects, I have a passion project that I'm currently working on. Hi, Chris, I see you here. Which is in financial literacy. And so, as an immigrant to the United States when I was 8 years old, I found my parents like did not bring anything with them, and we had to work, labor positions. And so I did experience poverty, which really incites me to bring this about for financial literacy so that people can take care of themselves for the rest of their lives. And I'm working with a business partner who's written a book called Becoming Retired-ish, right here. And we have a workbook associated with that. And we're addressing people who are looking to retire and or already retired. But I came in with a fresh perspective that we need to bring financial literacy and financial education to people as young as possible. So that's what I'm working on now, is to change this into a course for before 45 years old and after 45 years old. And so those are the differentiators. And then also a bonus class for parents who are teaching their kids, and there's no program to support that in the schools. But besides financial education, this is more of a holistic look at really from shifting from a scarcity mindset to and survival mode to one of complete abundance, which is our birthright. And I believe that once you shift that and people can, have inner peace with themselves or know the path for them to gain financial freedom for the rest of their lives, then they can also then live on purpose. And so that's the premise of that. And we're launching in May. So I'm excited about that. And thank you for having me in this group, Kirk. This is want to learn from y'all. I'm struggling a little bit with AI at this moment. So I'd love to, have some know-how in terms of comparing documents. I've been using Claude and ChatGPT and other AI products. So
Yeah, and
love
that's a great update. I didn't know a lot of those things that you were into. So again, in the WhatsApp group, share these things because you never know when the dots connect, and but what a journey, huh? The scarcity mindset is strong. Where it is. I teach a class at Georgetown, and these are mid-level professionals.
Oh yeah.
And I'm at this point in life, I look at like some of the belief systems that are going on, like wow, right? And it's almost like I have to slow myself down and connect the dots. But they're deep entrenched beliefs that, boy, that's going to keep you from where you want to go.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
These
yeah.
are some of your students,
yeah.
Kirk?
And these are all
They just-
mid-level, 30s, 40s, 50s, people
Mhm.
who have some track record. And and I can also remember when I was on the other side of the coin, like, oh, I remember working like a factory worker, and you want more, you work, if you want more, work more kind of stuff. And so now I'm sure there's other coins, but now at least at this point in the journey, I can see that stuff like, wow, it's got to be painful,
Mhm.
and it's self-inflicted limits, which is kind of why we're
Yeah.
doing this, to bring each other along kind of stuff is the purpose. Okay, so I'm going to switch. We're going to do a smooth landing, but I do got to teach at 1 o'clock to Georgetown. And so we'll do a smooth landing just before that because I'm ready, okay, for that. And so I'm going to screen share that, and I'll give you some insight about the Freedom Platform and where we're going that might make it even more meaningful to take that first step. And then I think let's go to AI and talk about that. So we're going to pick up on what Ben introduce and then go from there. Is that okay if I do that? You guys are just rifting. Okay. Okay, so to put everything into context, you all went through some version, cohort 1, cohort 2 of the Life Master course, and they changed a lot between 1 and 2 because of the learning. And so we did in the Freedom Platform, this is what we did, right? Where you get the dashboard. We worked on some aspect of like this is literally my life as a visual. And if you log into the Freedom platform, you can see your life. And it's designed to be very intentional. All the different things in life, from like that vivid vision and household income to freedom levels, objective setting at the top. I can decide the bucket list. What am I going to do? Right? For some people, it might be a job change or a bucket list, or it might be travel. In my case, it's those things. The first thing you can see is I want to be healthy, because I had a sciatic nerve 2 years ago, and doing that one time was enough. So I want to focus on health, so I'm able to do everything else. And then, but you can literally see my priorities at a glance: 1, 2, 3. And Ben, it came up in that conversation on the Life Master course where that family bank was like resonated. And so I'm right there. I got to this year. It's red, but I don't, I kind of know the what and why. I don't know enough about the how to make a decisions. So I got to keep collaborating with the experts to do that. So we did this. It's focused on life, and it goes all the way down to, what actions are being taken in my life. And I have people on my success team, like my accountant, who's responsible for certain things. So we did that, to based on where I want to be, the same skills for you, where you could use the Life platform you could use a Freedom platform to do that. If we open things up, maybe give a little more motivation. The habit for me is I log in every day to my dashboard, and this is literally my dashboard, my business objectives, my personal objectives, what I'm doing for development. And I can see for everything. I have 3 businesses, I have more than 3 clients, and I have one life, right? For everything in my entire universe, my entire existence, I can see it right here, right? These are the things I'm going to do today, right? These are the things that I need to do on a recurring level. And then there might be something here for development, where I want to develop this skill, do something. So it raises my level of I can be intentional. I'm not going to do 6 things today. If I drill into this, I probably should pick one thing that I'm going to actually do besides the things we're doing like this on the calendar, with each other. So it allows me to be intentional. Let me get down to the one thing I'm actually going to do, where I'm focused. It allows me to be more proactive, more responsive, versus in a reactive mode, something like that. So this is literally my dashboard: 3 businesses, 1 life, many customers, right? This is everything. And I'll show you an example of a business of what I won't go into any, I'll just show an example. The business setup is exactly like the life setup. For every business, this is it, right? You can have 200 team members, and you can see what's overdue, what's not overdue, what's future. So at a glance, I can see the business. Plus, I can see on the dashboard, I can put financial and non-financial, measurements, based on measurements that are in line with our objectives, vision, mission. I can see a visual of the business, right? Say, just like the life, there's a heat map, and not just me, but all my employees, all my managers, all my leaders. They can see the transparency. They can see the exact same thing. So we know where we're running hot, where we're running cold, what are our priorities. And I can drill down into any of these, and I can see, I go to the view, right? So I can see literally for all the key activities in the business: new customer acquisition, we have a diagnostic, and then there's a short list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. The short list contains things that might play out and might be a priority over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 quarters. But then I'm going to pick maybe 1, 2, or 3 across, for each function. If I'm a manager, I'm going to focus on maybe 1 or 2 things. And then for that, I create the task, the project management task, right? In recurring task. So if we think about where we're going with this, I'm working on the back end to enable this, where you guys, you have your life in the platform. If you want, you can run your business on the platform, same kind of clarity, right? Where you got a visual, and every function has the respective place that they, the project management level follow through, then recurring tasks for things that are already set up that on some frequency get done. And it could be one business. It could be, I know a guy named Dan who has 150 businesses, right, Amy? You could have 150 businesses. It all still comes down to, for me, what I'm doing, my dashboard right there. And if I want to look at what any respective business is doing, I just click on it and I can see what that business is doing. If I want to look at what a certain team is doing or a team member, I can literally see basically their dashboard. Where are they at? Where are they stuck? How can I help them be successful? And everything's tracked against that dashboard, where financial and non-financial measurements to that destination. So
How did you switch? Just so I see, how did you switch between your personal, your life plan to one of your businesses a few minutes ago?
yeah, it's literally like this is not enabled for you. Like for you right now,
Okay.
just what's enabled for you is your life,
Mhm.
and then if there's a shared life, like Ben is, we're connected, right? So we can see different things. So he and I can trade tasks together and trade communication
Cool.
inside the platform. Once I got to rework the background, like the Freedom Platform started with my growth CFOs doing the work, so it's optimized around that. Then I created the life flight plan using the same intentional approach.
Right.
And my developers are working on the back end of the business module to enable it where you guys can use it. But I have to enable where you can have for a business, potentially every function that you have in your business. And somebody like you could use all the platform for every function or just part of it. So it's very flexible. So the short answer, Rob, is it's not enabled yet. You won't see any of this.
Okay.
This is all tied to when you have the business module implemented.
Okay.
But I'm working on it. Okay. So I'm kind of curious about what you guys think. Does that if we keep talking about, let me stop sharing so I can see your smiles. Okay, so the life module, the business module, it's the same level. The habit every day is log into the user dashboard and then sort things out. The roadmap includes implementing a phone app where I can at least keep track of my task on the phone. Right, probably can't do the whole flight plan, but it's just too much for a phone. But the essential communication back and forth with different team members and the task level management, dashboard, so I can see where I'm flying, probably could do that on a phone app. So that's on the roadmap. And then building the AI buddy, like the life and business building AI buddy, all the stuff we're talking about, whether it's family bank or asset protection, plus I need to increase profitability, right? Just like you're doing with, conversation you can have with different AI, that'll be built in. There'll be an AI buddy that sits on top of this and helps. It could help somebody. Well, it could be the question, how do I get started using the Freedom Platform? It would say, well, let me show you, right? Click here, make it a habit. Then when you're getting, crawl, walk, run, when you're getting that benefit, then you can do more with it. But start with your life. And then if you want, you can put your business on it and bring your employees. And what I like about it, I really care about my team members. I really care about people, my clients, my team members, prosperity. And so my employees, they have a life. And so if they're in a platform, the same thing that we've been doing cohorts, the Life Master course, I'm going to do the same course with them, right? Well, they have a vivid vision. What do they want in their life? How does our work relate to that, right? The bigger picture, what you want. And they'll have the same, module. And so with business owners could do that with their employees, where they have a life and they build income, where they're not living paycheck to paycheck. And so, with the course built in and AI built in and collaboration. So that's the long-term vision. The long-term vision of the Freedom Platform is that, wow, I log in, I'm perfectly clear. I'm not working 90 hours a week. I'm working like whatever. In my case, 20 hours a week. Then in the office, it would be fantastic. Then the rest, I want to be out with you guys doing stuff. Like me, I'm gonna go see Isaac tomorrow. We're supposed to go hiking, but we're gonna do an ad, a Fox News ad or something.
Yeah, they're going to be filming another ad we're about to run for employment.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go out there and sit at night because I'm not 20 hours, 4 days a week, 5 hours, 4 or 5 hour days, in the office, and the rest I'm out. And that's tied to my number one objective about being healthy, right? Relationships, bringing people along, collaborating. So, so that's the view, is that the Freedom Platform, because before the Freedom Platform, I had things I was supposed to do in life. Man, years later, years later. So I literally developed it to solve, I needed it for my business, first of all. Otherwise, I got 32 employees, different places in the world, clients all over. There's no way I could work, my business would exist, Growth CFO, if not for the platform. There's no way you're going to do this on spreadsheets and emails and oh my God, right? So developed there, and then I needed, the business is running well, but then my life is a mess. Like, you know, like I don't have asset protection. I'm not, even right now, we don't have insurance. We're underinsured. We have car insurance, but not like life insurance. That expired last year. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out the family bank for all that. But so I duplicated that same modality, the life flight plan, business flight plan to life flight plan, to solve the problem that I was having. And then that's how the whole platform came to be. And it's just a habit. It's a learning curve for employees to learn, hey, you log in every day, go to your dashboard, be very intentional, proactively, what is the most important thing today based on your commitments, and select that, and then follow through. And then all the communication, if my team members communicate in emails, they're always unsure, they don't know what's going on, they miss things because it's right. When they communicate inside a task, you know, they know Kirk needs to do this by Monday, and all the communication to that task with any team member is right there. There's almost absolute clarity, and the confusion just doesn't exist. There's still maybe 3% or something, but it just goes away. When they start going to the old habits, like working out the emails, all of a sudden there's communication problems. Well, the first thing we do, it's in the email. If it's in the email, forget it. So let me pause there. Does that help at all, and kind of why the platform, why I'm paying attention to it and trying to bring it to the world? Maybe it's just a habit, kind of what Ben and Isaac were talking about, just a habit. Start there. If you could do it for your life, you could literally run 150 businesses off it. And it's that easy. Because you just log into your dashboard and teach other, in your culture, teach other people to do the same thing. And then your left hand knows what the right hand's doing.
I think that's a key. I mean, what I hear Ben say that specifically, but Isaac brought up the fact that you have to practice it every day, just do it every day. So committing 10 minutes in the morning or something like that to just look at where you are and add one thing. And the minute, because I have trouble with it because it's like a big blah of stuff. And it's like, okay, where do I start? What do I have to put down where? And I think if I commit to this for the next 21 days, for instance, to do 10 minutes a day, you're going to get a message every day from me going, okay, I tried to do this. Is that a stupid idea? Or did I go down the wrong road? And because it's not as simple as like make a mind map that does something, you know, there's a bunch of stuff there that the level of abstraction, the level of detail is unclear, and how they're all related is kind of unclear. That's just my feedback as a consumer of it, that I think there's going to take some degree. You know, I tried to keep up with the 5 or 6 weekly things we did, and some made perfect sense, and some were like, oh, I don't need that. I'm too old for that now. I would love the bank, but you know, that's gone. That's gone. I would have loved to have known about it 20 years ago or something like that. It was very cool. But anyway, point being, some of them didn't require my participation at on the software level, but those that did, I just barely, you know, kind of got into it. And so I'll try and give it a second wave, you know, just so you get some real feedback. I don't know if everybody else is like, oh no, I get it. So,
side comment, I don't think the bank thing's gone. It doesn't have to happen the same exact way that Kirk's talking about, but if you've got resources, there'd be a way to organize them for your legacy. It's probably more in reach for you if you do have resources like that. Other thing, my reactions to it, like on the habits thing, I think part of it, I totally agree with the habits, and I'm a sort of somewhat disciple of the Atomic Habits deal, if everybody's familiar with that. I have a habit of my business is organized on the Microsoft platform, and I'm using their planner tool, which has some similar functionality like a Kanban type style project management. I try to make that as a habit, and that's super accessible because it's integrated. But even with that, as easy as it is, I stray from it because I think it's maybe not in my nature to be regimented like that. I'm more of a creative soul, and so it's very hard for me to like to get to that. It's not that I lack discipline, it's just that I just function differently from that. I've found I have recently engaged with a executive assistant who's a lot more, linear logic oriented. And I think if I team up with the right people and get the right people in my what's it called in the plan your shared life, if I get the right people in that shared life, Kirk, I think maybe that could help me. I think that's to your point about the accountability. It's hard for, we all have a lot going on and we need help keeping ourselves accountable and working through things. So I think I think a thing that would help me beyond just the habits would be getting the right team members fully engaged in that to hold me accountable and to, complement my efforts in it. Like Kirk, I admit I hadn't logged into it. I've logged into the Freedom Platform each time we have these, but I have failed to do that in between meetings very much. And I set up reoccurring tasks in there to like review. I tried to force myself to have the habit, and I looked in there. There's 99 tasks to review daily that I have not completed. And I feel well, I'm just being transparent about that. I'm humbled by that. And I don't know, Kirk, like, you and I are connected on there, but we haven't gone to the next level of really holding each other accountable. So I'm wondering how we start to engage with that. I don't expect you to be, my babysitter on that. That's not, you're busy. You got too much stuff to do with that, but maybe there are a few probably things that you and I could be complimenting each other on, and maybe could commit to trying to figure out what those are and learning, to Rob's point about there's a lot of stuff in there and you just got to dive in and start learning, a bit by bit and eating that elephant a bite at a time. So those are just kind of my reactions to it so far and where I'm at on the journey with that.
Yeah, very, very helpful. I heard other people speaking up. So what else are you experiencing? Yeah, Catherine?
You're on mute.
I'm remedial, so I have not utilized the platform nearly as much as I could. But I have been faithful since 1987, which, for some of us, that was just the other day, of using some kind of Franklin Covey type thing. I think the first one that I was introduced was Time Text. No, it wasn't Time Text. I can't remember. It was it was a little tiny spiral bound book about this big for your calendar and your to-do list, and it was designed for a man to put in his pocket of his shirt.
Yeah.
And I was in overwhelm because I had to grow up so fast here in Mississippi, and this was my first job. It wasn't my first job, but it was my first job working for a CEO. So it's really an overwhelm. And the training director, I went to her and I said, I'm so much overwhelmed. She said, oh, we'll order this for you today. And so this is what I use today. I would like to get it in Kirk's platform, so don't judge me. But it's called the planner pad, and it's real thin. Let me get that so you can see it's real thin, spiral bound. You can carry it on a plane. It's really easy, doesn't weigh much. It has the whole year, 12 months. But during COVID, they stopped their own fulfillment, and so now you get it on Amazon. But I get the two little plastic tabs, one for the month at a glance and one for the it's a 2-page view per the week, and it comes with an audio recording about how to use it properly. It's got your calendar, your to-do list, and these 7 buckets across the top of what Kirk's talking about. What is it that you most want? The travel, the financial freedom, the time with family, and your clients, of course, can take up a couple of those buckets. And then you can put in and you start over every week with those 2 pages. So every week you can revise, your ideal client or whatever you put in there, the clients you're working with directly. So anyway, I highly recommend that you start with that, because if you can do it on paper, then the electronics is so much easier. Kirk's way more sophisticated than what I'm doing, but this is a really good starting point, Benjamin, when you were talking about, you don't Kirk, you don't want to make Kirk be your accountability buddy, but you do something like this, and I use it every day. I have it open on my desk. I use it in the morning to get grounded, look at my calendar, do my brain dump. I use it all day, every day, and it makes a world of difference. And
Catherine,
oh, go ahead.
oh yes. So I was faithful to something like that for a while when I worked in finance. You can print out a one pager from Outlook, basically that has the same thing, your
Right,
calendar, a place for notes and whatever. I did that
right.
every day for, I don't know, probably a year or maybe a few years, and I kept them
Uh-huh.
all together. And
Yeah.
well, I guess I didn't do it every day, but I did come back to it frequently, and I used it,
Mhm.
and it was helpful. But again, it back to my nature, like it was just really forced for me, and I want to find something that's natural for me,
Right,
the
right.
way that I work. And
Right.
so
Well,
I gotta
I'm not a detailed or linear thinker at all in any way, shape, or form, but I've done it so long, I know the value of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
I mean, I can recognize the value of it. I'm just
um,
and I'm an adopter of new things. So like, I got into the Microsoft platform, I dive into it, I figure that all out. Kirk, when
right.
I look at the Freedom platform, it is a lot of stuff, but I'm pretty good at like intuiting through all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll take all these things in, but I'm trying to figure out how do I build on that and then make it that habit or get the right
Mhm.
team. I'm just trying to be transparent where I haven't been using it and I want to. I want it. I see the value in a tool like that. I believe in the vision that you got going there, Kirk, and I'm trying to figure out what's in my way. And it probably, if I solve my problem, that would be helpful for you, Kirk, for maybe some portion of the problem where there's souls out there that are somewhat like me. And there's
Yeah.
another portion of the world that's got a different approach. And if we can figure out how to make it resonate with all those souls, you've really got some power, you know?
That'd be something, right? To decode this, and that's part of the fun of being business owners, and we creativity, figure stuff out for the better life. There could be like short-term strategies and tactics, and then long-term, maybe there's a different AI personalities, and some AI sing to you, "Hey, how about we set our priorities today?" And another one's different based on personality. You know, maybe the AI could adapt like that. So it's really interesting. Um, the whole purpose is being intentional. But it's easy, like you wake up, the email's coming in, there might be some text or something. It's easy just with
Yeah.
those random, I don't know, events start, then the person goes, including your employees, instead of doing what you really need them to do. Oh, email,
Mhm. And that,
right?
yeah. And see, that's me, the shiny object, oh, the email. Oh, I should take action on that. Or, oh, this presentation I'm going to make on a second. Let me work on that, for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah, very
focus.
easily distracted.
And
Actually, I was recently diagnosed with adult ADHD, but they said at my age, the medication would actually make it worse. It's too late for me to take any medication.
yep. So I'm gonna bring it into the landing here. If we resolve this, and that your life could potentially be really good, where not just you, but your employees have what they need, their focus. If we're working in this system that we were talking about, it's easy to build analysis, like who's not logging in, who has an objective that day, but they keep rescheduling it for 5 weeks, right? There's probably a good opportunity to coach them, right? But there's something's coming in, right? So there's possibilities. Let's land here. Because I got to get to Georgetown. Um, but with AI, we have a WhatsApp AI group, and there's a document template, strategy and tactics. If you haven't seen that, definitely I'm going to encourage you all to get into that. And feedback, because we're going to develop for finance and accounting, this is the best practice, and do it for ourselves, do it for our clients, and do it for others. And then growth CFOs care about operations. So to be effective, the company really need AI it's not going to change the what and why in your business. It's going to change the how. And the employees got to be skilled. How do they work with these tools, and how do they make sure these tools are giving them the right outcomes? Because it's easy for AI to be incorrect and the people not to know. So I'm gonna leave that as a cliffhanger that we'll tackle together. WhatsApp group, this collaboration. But do you guys find this useful? Is this good? We'll keep going. Every other month we'll meet like this. In between, we'll meet differently, okay? With the WhatsApp stuff. But with that, I'll see you later. And hello,
Okay,
Georgia.
have fun teaching.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kirk.
Thank
See you
you.
soon.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Take-